What if we lost the moon? As night descends, the moon shines brightly in the vast sky, like a giant lantern hanging above the Earth. Its soft glow has accompanied humanity for thousands of years, not only adding a mysterious beauty to the night but also playing a crucial role in the Earth's natural systems. But do we truly understand the moon's significance? What would happen if one day it suddenly disappeared? The moon is not just a lifeless rock floating in space. It is Earth's only natural satellite. With a diameter of approximately 3.474 kilometers, about 1/4 the size of Earth. Though small compared to our planet, its gravitational pull exerts a powerful influence on Earth's natural systems, from ocean tides to climate patterns, and even human life itself. Did you know that the moon is responsible for the tides in our oceans? As it orbits Earth, its gravitational force pulls the seawater upward, creating the waves that surfers love so much. But the moon's role extends far beyond just tides. It helps stabilize Earth's axial tilt, ensuring the existence of 4 distinct seasons and a habitable climate. Without the moon, Earth's tilt could become unstable, leading to extreme seasonal changes, summers that scorch the land and winters so harsh that survival becomes nearly impossible. Even human biology is influenced by the moon. Studies suggest that moonlight can affect sleep patterns, making it harder for people to fall asleep during a full moon. In folklore, the moon is believed to have the power to influence human emotions, causing people to act strangely or become more sensitive on bright lunar nights. So, what would happen if the moon suddenly vanished? How would Earth change? Could humanity survive without this celestial companion? Let's explore the catastrophic consequences in the next section. If we think of the ocean as a giant living organism, then tides are its rhythmic breathing. Every day, seawater rises and falls in a predictable cycle, creating rolling waves and powerful currents. But have you ever wondered who orchestrates this never-ending dance? The answer is the moon, the invisible yet powerful conductor of the seas. The moon's gravitational pull, though weaker than Earth's, is strong enough to influence the massive bodies of water covering our planet. As Earth rotates, the moon's gravity pulls the ocean's surface toward it, creating high tides in the areas closest to the moon. Simultaneously, on the opposite side of the planet, inertia causes the water to bulge outward, forming a second high tide. Between these two bulges are areas of low tide. This delicate balance keeps the ocean in constant motion, sustaining marine life and regulating global ecosystems. Tides are more than just a fascinating natural phenomenon. They have a profound impact on human life. Surfers experience firsthand how waves change with the moon's cycle. During high tide, waves become stronger and more powerful, creating thrilling moments for those riding them. But beyond recreation, tides are essential to marine ecosystems. Ocean currents, driven by tidal movements, transport oxygen and nutrients from the deep sea to the surface, sustaining millions of marine creatures. Without the moon, tides would weaken significantly. The once vibrant oceans would grow still, currents would slow, and many marine species would struggle to survive. The disruption of ecosystems would lead to a decline in seafood resources, affecting human food supplies. But this would only be the beginning of a series of terrifying changes if the moon were to disappear. Imagine a world where the moon no longer exists. How would the oceans change? The once bustling beaches would fall silent, and the gentle waves we know today would gradually lose their energy. But it's not just the oceans, the entire Earth would be thrown into unpredictable chaos. Have you ever wondered why Earth has 4 distinct seasons? Why summer isn't unbearably hot, and winter isn't an eternal ice age? The answer lies in Earth's axial tilt, a delicate balance maintained by the moon. Earth doesn't rotate perfectly upright around the sun. Instead, it tilts at an angle of about 23.5 degrees. This tilt causes different parts of the planet to receive varying amounts of sunlight throughout the year, creating the cycle of seasons. When one hemisphere tilts toward the sun, it experiences summer, while the other, tilting away, enters winter. This cycle ensures a stable climate, allowing ecosystems to thrive and supporting life as we know it. If the Moon's gravitational force no longer stabilized Earth's axial tilt, our planet would begin to wobble like an unbalanced spinning top. The tilt angle could fluctuate wildly, sometimes dropping to just 10 degrees, other times soaring to 45 degrees or more. This would trigger extreme climate shifts, turning Earth into a world filled with chaos. With a smaller axial tilt, sunlight would be distributed almost evenly throughout the year, making the difference between winter and summer barely noticeable. However, if the axial tilt became too extreme, summers would turn into scorching infernos, rendering many regions uninhabitable deserts. Conversely, winters would last for years, plunging vast areas into eternal ice. These erratic changes would also disrupt ecosystems and life on Earth. Plants and animals adapted to the four-season cycle would struggle to survive. Crops would become unpredictable, leading to devastating food shortages. Many species unable to adapt quickly enough could face extinction. Meanwhile, humans would be forced to endure catastrophic natural disasters, including hurricanes, droughts, extreme frost, and widespread food crises. Imagine living in a world where a year consists of only 2 seasons, a blistering summer and a freezing winter. Or worse, where the axial tilt shifts unpredictably each year, making the climate impossible to forecast. In such a reality, humans would have to migrate constantly to escape the relentless weather extremes. And civilization as we know it might collapse within centuries. The Moon, seemingly lifeless and silent in the night sky, is actually the key to keeping our planet stable and habitable. Without it, Earth would no longer be the home we recognize. Have you ever felt like a day passed too quickly? As if there wasn't enough time to get everything done? Now, imagine if a day on Earth lasted only 6 to 8 hours instead of the 24 hours we have now. Everything would move at a breakneck pace, and life as we know it would be completely altered. The reason we have 24-hour days is largely due to the Moon. When Earth first formed, it spun much faster. One full rotation took only about 5 hours. However, over millions of years, the Moon's gravitational pull has influenced the oceans, creating tides. These massive waves generated friction, gradually slowing Earth's rotation and extending our days to 24 hours. But if the Moon were to suddenly disappear, this process would reverse. Earth would start spinning faster, and in a short time, a single day could shrink to just 6 to 8 hours. What would this mean? Devastating winds. Earth becomes a giant storm. As Earth spins faster, centrifugal forces would increase dramatically. This would make winds incredibly powerful, reaching speeds of up to 300 miles per hour, 480 kilometers per hour, as strong as the most intense hurricanes today. These non-stop storms would sweep across the planet, destroying everything in their path. Birds, insects, and many small creatures would find it nearly impossible to survive, as they wouldn't be able to fly or move properly in such extreme winds. Even humans would have to build fortified cities designed to withstand perpetual hurricanes. Rivers and oceans would be violently stirred, leading to massive tsunamis and destructive currents. You're used to a 24-hour day, working for 8 hours, sleeping for 7 to 8 hours, and spending the rest of the time eating, relaxing, or socializing. But if a day lasted only 6 to 8 hours, humans would be forced to take multiple naps throughout the day. Similar to nocturnal animals, this disruption of circadian rhythms would cause serious health problems, including sleep disorders, memory loss, extreme stress, and physical exhaustion. Work schedules, industrial production, and agricultural cycles, all of these are based on the day-night cycle we currently have. If days were reduced to just a few hours, everything would be thrown into disarray. Economies would spiral into chaos, productivity would plummet, and humanity would have to find an entirely new way of life. The Moon isn't just a floating rock in the night sky. It's a silent guardian that keeps Earth's stability intact. If it ever disappeared, our planet would be thrown into disorder, and humanity might not be able to adapt quickly enough to survive. Imagine stepping outside and being instantly swept away by a 480 km/h wind, equivalent to a Category 5 hurricane. the most powerful ever recorded on Earth. These winds wouldn't be a temporary phenomenon but a permanent part of the planet's weather. This is the terrifying future if the moon suddenly vanished, causing Earth to spin faster and generating deadly winds. The moon currently helps slow down Earth's rotation, creating a stable climate. But if the moon disappeared, Earth's rotation speed would increase at least 3 to 4 times, strengthening centrifugal force. The planet's atmosphere would stretch out, generating incredibly strong air currents. These winds would never stop, as Earth would have no time to slow down. Everything on the planet's surface would be blown away, from towering skyscrapers and lush forests to bustling cities. As the violent winds sweep across the planet, many animal species would be unable to survive. Small and lightweight creatures like birds and insects would be lifted into the air. Losing all control, most birds would go extinct almost immediately, as they wouldn't be able to fly or find food in such extreme conditions. Even larger animals wouldn't be safe. Imagine a herd of deer, elk, or even elephants trying to move in 480 km/h winds. They wouldn't be able to stand, let alone survive. Lush forests would be wiped out, trees uprooted, leaving behind barren wastelands. Despite this destruction, a few species might adapt to the harsh environment. Deep-rooted trees, plants with deep roots anchoring them to the ground, might have a chance of survival. However, their growth would be significantly stunted, as the constant strong winds would disrupt photosynthesis and make them more vulnerable to damage. Small, ground-dwelling animals, creatures like moles, reptiles, and burrowing insects might continue to survive, as they wouldn't be directly exposed to the winds. However, their food sources would be severely impacted. Deep-sea marine life, while the ocean's surface would become turbulent, organisms living in deep waters could still persist. As long as ocean currents maintain some temperature balance, we may try to fight against nature. But surviving in such a world would be nearly impossible. Humans would be forced to build underground cities, living in fortified structures beneath the surface to escape nature's devastating power. Outdoor activities would become impossible, and farming and livestock raising would become incredibly difficult. Even if humanity found a way to endure, the world would never be the same. No more lush green forests, no more flocks of birds soaring across the sky, and no more peaceful afternoons with a gentle breeze rustling through golden fields. A world without the moon isn't just a world without moonlight. It's a devastated Earth plagued by deadly winds. And worse still, this catastrophe would only be the beginning of even greater disasters. Now, imagine a world where the ocean no longer sustains life, a strangely still surface. No waves crashing, no fish swimming, and no vibrant coral reefs. If the moon suddenly disappeared, the ocean ecosystem would completely collapse, triggering catastrophic consequences not only for marine life but for the entire planet. The ocean isn't just a massive body of water, it's a living system with continuous currents circulating heat, oxygen, and nutrients. The moon plays a crucial role in maintaining tides and ocean currents, helping deep-sea water rise to the surface and bringing essential nutrients that sustain billions of marine organisms. If the moon vanished, tides would weaken drastically, only about 1/3 of their current strength. This would slow down or even halt ocean currents, leading to a deadly chain reaction beneath the waves. Without water movement from the ocean depths to the surface, oxygen levels would drop dramatically. This would be disastrous for marine creatures that rely on currents to absorb oxygen and nutrients. Plankton, the foundation of the ocean ecosystem, would be the first to die. These tiny microorganisms wouldn't receive enough nutrients, causing their populations to decline rapidly. Small fish, shrimp, and mollusks that depend on plankton would soon begin to die off. Larger predators like sharks, whales, and sea turtles would lose their food sources, pushing them toward extinction. The ocean would become a lifeless expanse, filled with floating fish carcasses. As the marine food chain collapses, when coral dies, thousands of species of fish and marine animals lose their shelter, leading to the collapse of an entire food chain. Once vibrant, Colorful seas teeming with millions of living organisms will turn into barren rock formations, devoid of any signs of life. Not only marine life but also humans will suffer catastrophic consequences from the collapse of the ocean ecosystem. The fishing industry will collapse, pushing millions of people into poverty due to the loss of food sources and livelihoods. The amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere will increase as the ocean loses its ability to absorb greenhouse gases. Worsening climate change. Ocean storms will become more dangerous, as ocean currents no longer regulate temperature, allowing superstorms to form more frequently. If the moon disappears, the ocean will no longer be a bountiful source of life but will become a dead zone, depleted of oxygen and marine organisms. No more swimming fish, no more dazzling coral reefs, only a dark, lifeless sea filled with floating carcasses. And this is just one of the many disasters that will occur if the moon ceases to exist. In the next part, we will witness the terrifying climate changes that will engulf the Earth in ice. Imagine standing on a familiar beach. Waves gently lap at the shore. The rhythm of the ocean as calm as ever. But suddenly, something strange happens. The water begins to recede far from the coast. Farther than you've ever seen. No one has time to react before. Within minutes, a massive wall of water, hundreds of meters high, emerges on the horizon, rushing towards the land at an unimaginable speed. This is the terrifying scenario of Earth if the moon were to suddenly vanish. The disappearance of the moon wouldn't just disrupt ecosystems, it would trigger catastrophic events, including weakened tides and the emergence of deadly tsunamis. Currently, Earth's tides are primarily controlled by the moon's gravitational pull. When the moon pulls seawater toward it, high tides form, while in areas farther from the moon, the water recedes, creating low tides. This cycle maintains the ocean's stability, ensuring the movement of currents and the distribution of nutrients for marine life. If the moon disappears, tides will weaken dramatically, reducing to only 1/3 of their current strength due to the remaining gravitational pull from the sun. This will cause the ocean to become eerily still. Waves will be smaller, currents weaker, and water movement sluggish. But the most terrifying consequence is not just the weakening of tides, it's what happens the moment the moon disappears. Without the moon, the oceans will instantly lose their balance. Until now, the gravitational pull of the moon and Earth's rotation have kept seawater in equilibrium. However, if the moon suddenly vanishes, an enormous volume of seawater will be drawn toward the sun, the only remaining significant gravitational force affecting Earth's water. The consequences are catastrophic. Oceans will shift suddenly, creating a massive collision of water masses. Gigantic tsunamis will form, not due to earthquakes, but from Earth's own loss of gravitational stability. Tsunami waves hundreds of meters high will race across the planet at hundreds of kilometers per hour, devastating coastal regions within hours of the moon's disappearance. Think of major coastal cities around the world: New York, Tokyo, London, Sydney, Ho Chi Minh City, all located near the sea and dependent on stable tides. But with colossal tsunamis striking, millions of people will not have time to escape. The ocean will engulf entire coastlines within hours. Tsunamis larger than any recorded disaster will strike, sweeping away houses, vehicles, and people. Giant ships will be tossed onto land like toys. Bridges will collapse, and even skyscrapers near the coast will be unable to withstand the force. Electricity, telecommunications, and transportation networks will be completely paralyzed, plunging humanity into an unprecedented survival crisis. Even after the initial tsunami subsides, the long-term damage will be devastating. Vast coastal areas will be completely erased, turning into swamps or uninhabitable wastelands. Saltwater will flood inland, destroying farmland, freshwater sources, and entire ecosystems. The instability of tides will prevent ocean currents from recovering, further pushing marine life toward extinction. Humans have adapted to extreme conditions before, but if the entire ocean is thrown into chaos and coastal lands disappear, can we truly survive? The Earth as we know it today has a relatively stable climate system. thanks to the regulation of the oceans and ocean currents. However, if the moon were to disappear, this balance would collapse entirely. Tsunamis would be just the beginning. What's more terrifying is a world where weather and climate spiral out of control. Currently, ocean currents act as the arteries of the Earth, transferring heat and nutrients between different regions. This process helps maintain global climate balance. The equator doesn't become excessively hot because cold water from the poles is pushed downward. The poles don't become unbearably cold because warm tropical waters circulate north and south. But if the moon disappeared, weaker tides would slow down or even halt ocean currents, breaking the Earth's natural climate regulation system. When this happens, the planet will plunge into a nightmarish climate disaster. Without strong ocean currents to regulate temperature, the equatorial region would transform into a gigantic furnace. Temperatures could rise to 60 to 70 degrees Celsius, 140 to 158 degrees Fahrenheit, during the day. Enough to evaporate fresh water and make many areas uninhabitable. Deserts would expand rapidly, replacing forests and grasslands. Tropical storms would become far more violent, with destruction many times greater than today. As hot, humid air lingers in the atmosphere for too long, while the equator burns, the polar regions would become colder than ever before. Without warm equatorial waters flowing north, the poles would be covered in eternal ice. The Arctic and Antarctic ice caps would expand, creating massive glaciers that could swallow entire cities. Violent snowstorms could last for months or even years, paralyzing all life in the polar regions. The result would be a deadly division of the Earth, one side scorched by extreme heat, the other trapped in an icy hell. Beyond the contrast between heat and cold, the global weather would become more extreme than ever. Super powerful winds reaching 400 to 500 kilometers per hour, 250–310 miles per hour, would sweep across continents, carrying dust and creating massive dust storms like those on Mars. Rainfall would become unpredictable. Some places would suffer from perpetual drought, while others would experience unprecedented downpours, leading to catastrophic floods. Unprecedented tornadoes and lightning storms would occur frequently, as extreme temperature differences between regions intensify. Imagine a world where every day is a struggle for survival against nature, where hurricanes, tornadoes, heatwaves, and blizzards take turns ravaging the planet. Faced with such severe climate changes, cities and modern civilization would not be able to survive for long. Extreme temperatures would destroy crops, leading to mass food shortages. Freshwater sources would dry up, triggering wars over water and resources. Large regions would be abandoned, forcing mass migrations in search of habitable areas, leading to unprecedented humanitarian crises. The Earth would no longer be the lush, green planet we once knew. It would become a storm-ridden, extreme, and deadly world, where only the strongest life forms could endure. The moon may seem like a quiet object in the sky, but in reality, it plays a crucial role in sustaining life on Earth. If it disappeared, the Earth would quickly descend into chaos. The moon does more than provide gentle light at night, it also protects Earth from cosmic instability. One of its most vital roles is stabilizing the Earth's axial tilt at 23.5 degrees. This tilt creates distinct seasons and helps maintain climate balance. But if the moon vanished, Earth would lose its anchor, and another disaster would unfold. Right now, the moon's gravity is strong enough to keep the Earth stable, preventing interference from other planets in the solar system. But without the moon, massive planets like Jupiter, Mars, and even Venus would begin exerting powerful gravitational effects on Earth. Jupiter, the gravitational giant, with the strongest gravitational pull in the solar system. Jupiter could cause Earth's axial tilt to fluctuate chaotically. Mars, the unpredictable neighbor, although smaller. Mars' orbit could make the Earth wobble unpredictably. Venus, the hellish planet. Venus's gravitational influence could push Earth into an unstable, tilted orbit. The result? Earth would become a planet spinning out of control, with no stable climate or seasons. If the moon were not there to stabilize Earth's axial tilt, our planet could tilt anywhere from 0 to 90 degrees, or even more. This would mean winters could last for years, or disappear entirely. Summers could scorch the Earth with never-ending heatwaves. Some regions might never see the sun, while others would be burned under constant sunlight. Earth could end up in a state similar to Mars or Venus, with extreme temperature differences between day and night and an ever-changing climate. With an unstable axis, some areas would be exposed to sunlight for months or even years. This could cause the rapid melting of polar ice, raising sea levels and submerging coastal cities, a dramatic rise in global temperatures, turning vast areas into deserts, solar storms directly hitting Earth, damaging power grids and communication systems, plunging humanity into chaos. On the other hand, if Earth tilts the opposite way, some regions could be cast into eternal darkness, leading to freezing temperatures that could turn entire oceans into ice. The instability of Earth's axis wouldn't just alter the climate, it would devastate ecosystems and human habitats. Crops like wheat and corn would struggle to adapt to unpredictable weather, leading to widespread famine. Wildlife would suffer from disrupted biological cycles, causing many species to go extinct. Wars over resources would erupt as humanity fights for survival in an unpredictable world. Earth would become a planet of chaos, where no one could predict what would happen next. We often think of the moon as just a floating object in the sky. But in reality, it is an essential part of Earth's stability. If it were to disappear, Earth would no longer be a safe place to live. We've explored terrifying scenarios: vanishing tides, a disrupted climate, and a spinning Earth out of control, but these aren't even the worst outcomes. Without the moon, Earth would descend into an endless cycle of chaos, pushing humanity to the brink of extinction. With an unstable axis, some regions would be trapped in eternal summer, while others would face endless winter. This would completely destroy agriculture because growing seasons would no longer be reliable, and plants wouldn't adapt to extreme temperature swings. Severe droughts and storms would render land barren and uncultivable. Sudden temperature shifts would kill crops in massive numbers, causing worldwide famine. As these changes unfold, nations would begin fighting over resources, leading to wars and chaos as people struggled to survive in an increasingly harsh world. If Earth tilts too far or drifts away from the sun due to instability, a new ice age could strike. Imagine continents buried under ice sheets several kilometers thick, average temperatures dropping to -50 degrees Celsius, -58 degrees Fahrenheit, or lower, making survival nearly impossible. Life on Earth nearly wiped out, with only the most cold-resistant species enduring. Earth has gone through ice ages before, but this time, there's no guarantee that humanity would survive to see its end. Even if Earth didn't plunge into an ice age, it would still become an unstable planet where nothing could be predicted. A single day might last only 6 hours, or stretch for weeks. Coastal areas could be swallowed by tsunamis, while other continents suffer from unrelenting droughts. Life as we know it would cease to exist, and humans might have to seek another planet to inhabit, if there's still time. Compared to this, werewolves seem less scary. Whenever we look at the night sky, we associate the moon with eerie stories of werewolves. But in reality, losing the moon would be far more terrifying. Werewolves only come out on full moon nights, but if the moon disappears, disaster will strike every second of every day. Werewolves might be dangerous, but at least we can fight or run from them. If Earth collapses, there's nowhere to run. The moon, a silent presence in the night sky, plays a crucial role in maintaining life on Earth. If one day it disappears, everything we know will change forever, from gentle breezes turning into devastating storms, from fertile lands transforming into cold, lifeless wastelands. Our world will never be the same, and humanity could stand on the brink of extinction. What do you think about this? Are you surprised to learn how much the moon influences us? Share this video so everyone can explore the mysteries of the universe together. And leave a comment below with your thoughts. If you found this content interesting, Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next fascinating topics.